Right now, you might be scrolling on your phone with a piece of chicken thawing in your kitchen for dinner tonight. You didn't think twice about it. It's just food. But here's the strange part. Nobody ever decided to create the chicken. It wasn't bred in a lab, and it wasn't hunted into submission by hungry farmers. It walked into human life on its own. So what if the most common bird on planet Earth, 25 billion of them alive right now, more than 3 chickens for every single human, got here because of a mistake? For a long time, researchers assumed chickens were domesticated in China around 8,000 years ago, tamed by early farmers who wanted a reliable meat source. That's the story you've probably heard, but that assumption turned out to be wrong. Very wrong. In 2020, a team led by archaeologist Joris Peters and geneticist Gregor Larson at Oxford University re-examined the bones. What they found pushed the timeline forward by thousands of years and moved the entire story to a different continent. The real birthplace of the chicken was Southeast Asia, somewhere around 1500 BC. That's over 6,000 years later than everyone believed. So if humans weren't hunting these birds down for dinner, what actually happened?
Here's where it gets strange. The ancestor of every chicken alive today is the red junglefowl, a shy, skittish bird that lived deep in the forests of Thailand and its surrounding region. It avoided humans. It didn't want anything to do with us. But around 1500 BC, something changed the landscape completely. Humans started farming dry rice. Rice farming meant grain. Grain meant surplus, and surplus meant piles of food sitting out in the open, completely unguarded. Here's what's really interesting. The junglefowl didn't wait to be caught. They started coming to us. Wild birds crept closer to villages, drawn by the easiest meal they'd ever found. Humans didn't chase the chicken down. The chicken invited itself in. But here's what nobody talks about. This wasn't domestication the way you picture it, with humans capturing wild animals and forcing them into pens. This is something scientists call self-domestication, the same pathway that likely created the dog. The boldest, calmest junglefowl were the ones willing to get close to human settlements. And it gets stranger. Those same birds carried a small genetic change that flipped 2 switches at once. It let them breed all year round instead of just one season, and it made them noticeably calmer around anything that moved nearby. Fear quite literally got bred out of them by accident. Your body still remembers what that kind of fear feels like. It's the same ancient wiring that makes your heart race in a dark parking lot. And the twist doesn't stop there. You'd assume once humans had chickens, they immediately started eating them. They didn't. For hundreds of years after chickens spread out of Southeast Asia into China, India, and eventually the Mediterranean by around 800 BC, they weren't dinner. They were status symbols. Wealthy households kept them for cockfighting, for exotic display, sometimes even worshipped in religious rituals connected to the sunrise. Think about this. Julius Caesar himself reportedly saw the British keeping chickens purely for sport and companionship, not food, when Rome first arrived on those shores. It would take almost another 1,500 years, well into the medieval period, before chicken became a genuine dinner staple across most of the world. This is why you still keep animals close to you that serve no survival function whatsoever. Your dog doesn't hunt for you, you feed it anyway, because somewhere in your brain, closeness to a tame animal reads as safety and status, exactly the way it did for a farmer in Bronze Age Thailand watching a bold junglefowl creep toward his rice pile. Researchers at Miami University found that just looking at an animal lights up your brain's reward center faster than looking at an object or even another person. That's not random. That's leftover programming. But here's the truth that should really unsettle you. The chicken didn't win by being strong or fast or smart. It won by being useful to something more powerful than itself. Out of every bird species that has ever existed on this planet, the one that dominates by sheer numbers isn't the eagle or the falcon or anything built for survival in the wild. It's the one that learned to walk toward the campfire instead of away from it. 25 billion chickens are alive on Earth right now, more than every other bird species combined, and almost every single one of them will never see a forest in its entire life.
Think about that the next time dinner is thawing on your counter. You didn't tame the chicken. Neither did anyone else, not really. A shy forest bird noticed a pile of grain, decided the risk was worth it, and its descendants have been rewarded with the most successful evolutionary strategy in the history of birds: total dependence on us. Somewhere between a rice field in Southeast Asia and your refrigerator tonight, an accident became the most successful evolutionary trade the animal kingdom has ever made. And if you look closely enough, you'll notice the same quiet trade happening all around you, in every animal that chose closeness over freedom. If stories like this change the way you see the world around you, this is exactly what this channel exists for.